Hi guys, this is Guitarist Denis Taaffe in Bloomington, Indiana, and it's the day after Easter. It's pretty nice out. I want to welcome you to Bargain Bin Amps number 8. Wow, I can't believe we've gone through 8 amps already. So this is the 8th amp, and this time around we've got something really strange, a little different here. And that is a Fender Champ X2. And local music shop, Advanced Music, had just gotten it in, used, and so I just ran across it. Turns out it's a tube amplifier. However, the preamp and effects are digital. So it's a hybrid amp. You know, it's a hybrid tube amp, if you like. And the tube section just has two tubes. And I was taken aback at how small it is. I mean, it looks like a little practice amp, really. And not only that, it's only got 15 watts. 15 watts! Now, as you recall, in Bargain Bin Amps number 6, we had the behemoth Yorkville 150G stage. And it had the 2x12 speakers and 150 watts of solid state power. However, as we've come to know, tube amps are very loud with a lot less wattage. However, I'm a little skeptical that 15 watts is going to cut it. But we're going to see. We'll find out. So first, let's take a look at the amp. And before that, I should mention the asking price on the amp is $250. It's $100 more than the Orange Crush 30. It has a 10-inch speaker, just like the Orange Crush had a 10-inch speaker. Remember, this is 15 watts tube power, and the Orange Crush was a 30 watt solid state. And I very much like the solid state clean channel of the Orange amp. Wasn't too thrilled with the overdrive channel. As to be expected, I think it was the same thing on the Yorkville. It was okay. You know, they just never quite seemed to have it quite right or quite enough, anyway, at least for my taste. Alright, so let's go take a look at this thing. And I should mention the weight too of the amp. Whereas the Yorkville, you know, huge amp, was super heavy. Second heaviest amp I ever encountered. First one being the Fender Twin tube amp. The Yorkville came in second. Whereas the Orange was super light after that. And this one, while it's really small, it's actually quite heavy. Let's take a look. And there it is. You can see it. Here it is. Try to get the shadow out of the way. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, this is a small amp, but it's actually, for what it is, it's quite heavy, really. And this is a used one. And there's a little cage that holds the two amps. They look like two tube amps. So those, I think those might be EL34s. Or no, they're actually 6L6s, I think. I don't know. Anyway, it's got 15-watt speaker out, so you could actually hook up an extension cabinet. It's got a line out, foot switch, but notice here, right there, see that USB? And I guess with that USB, you can actually connect the Fuse software. Kind of like a Boss Katana. And there you can set up effects and choose the voicings and so on. And the one thing that was sad is it doesn't come with a foot switch. So again, that's Fender trying to make a few extra bucks. And this particular one, the Tolex, take a look at that. And I guess this is common on these amps especially. You'll see that it's almost looks like it's coming off, but it's not. It's well glued there, but yeah, it's not a very good job, you know. Almost looks like a homemade Tolex job, but okay, it's really nice. It's got the Fender red pilot light, that classic look, and it says vintage modified tube amplifier. And here you've got right here input 1 and a volume 1. That's your clean channel, right? And that's pretty much all you get. Then you've got another channel which has gain, volume 2, and a voice setting, which is different. And the voice setting, I guess, are all the different amp models that you can get here. Right there it is. As you can see, there's a ton of them. So it can go from a Marshall twin sound a Fender twin sound to a Marshall sound, and everything in between. So we'll take a look at that too. And then here you've got your bass and treble, and it does have a mid-range EQ. However, it's only accessible through the Fuse software. In other words, it's not on the front panel. You don't have a knob or anything, but it is accessible via the software, strangely enough. Then you have your effects adjust here, and here are your effects select for digital effects. And I saw that the Fuse software, the effects look like little pedals. So you've got a delay pedal, chorus pedal, and so on. But right here, just off the front panel, you have delay, tremolo, reverb, chorus, and that's about it. And different, stages of that. You also have a tap tempo switch here, right there. So there it is. Now, since this is bargain bin amps, I have a few little practice amps. And these are you've probably seen them, little tiny amps with 6 to 8 inch speakers usually. And that's what they are. They're just practice amps. So this is a little bit better than that. So maybe worth trading it in. I don't know. I'm leery of that 15 watts. This just doesn't sound like a lot. And it seems that the new norm is these 10-inch speakers. It used to be 12. What happened? I don't know. Is it the economy? Maybe it's cheaper for them to do it. The only thing I've noticed, I guess, with a 10-inch speaker, you don't always get the bass response that you do from a 12. But this, especially with the software, this will be a really interesting review here. I'm going to try it out and see. I remember I tried one in a store once, and I remember that I couldn't believe how sparkly sparkly is a good word for it. That kind of a Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing kind of double stop sound, or, you know, that this little amp could give you. I thought, boy, I wish they made a bigger one, you know, the same kind of amp but bigger. So I'm really glad to see that I've run across one again. And it's a pretty decent amp. It gets really good reviews on there. And they're asking $250 for this one. And it's a little less than what you find them used on, you know, online. So, not bad. And maybe worth looking into. And since I just last night, you know, just got done reviewing the little orange amp, you know, and the orange is about half the weight of the Fender and a little bit bigger cabinet, but not by much. So they're very similar, except this one's $100 more. Used, street price, if you like. You know, I'm very interested to see about this Fuse software. So not only is it an editor, and you get extra features, you know, but it's also can be used for recording as well. You know, recording direct to your PC DAW, digital audio workstation, right? Alright, so I'm gonna bring it into my studio room and put it through its paces, and we'll take a look, see how it goes. I'd very much like to compare it to the orange amp, you know, which I thought had a really nice clean channel. And I think this, I'm assuming that this will be very similar, if not better, clean sounds, because it's Fender, you know, you get that typical Fender sound, or you're assuming, you know. Yeah, right off the bat, I wish they had put an extra 15 watts in a 12-inch speaker. Would have been nice. Yeah. But these days, you know, and don't forget, I always play in stereo. For me, the mono sound doesn't work all that well, except for distorted stuff, you know, distortion, lead playing. Then I prefer mono. But for everything else, I run in stereo. So I would use 2 of these, you know. So I guess there's my 30 watts tube, which I always thought for, you know, gigs, small gigs, is decent. You know, if you've got 30 watts of tube power, that's plenty. But we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so I guess I'll see you around in part 2. Fender Super Champ X2 hooked up here. I've already made a recording with it right off the bat. And I can tell you this right now. Remember how I was skeptical of those 15 watts? And I thought, man, that's just not enough. But let me tell you something. This is definitely 15 watts of tube power, without a doubt. And super impressed. It easily kept up with my Albion 2x12, which I always use in recording. So I'm using 2 amps here. And I can tell you that little Fender Super Champ X2 is really great. I mean, wow. I am blown away. And I haven't even messed with it. I'm blown away by how clean it sounds. The speaker must be really good because it had no problems handling the volume I was throwing at it. And, you know, I don't play ear-splittingly loud, but loud enough, you know, definitely to fill a room. So, that being said, I'm really, really impressed so far. Now I just used the clean channel and had my pedal board plugged in. And I have the volume set at about 4. Okay, initially at 5, but it was too loud compared to what I usually set to Albion 2x12. You know, and here I've got the treble at about 3 and the bass at about 6, and then I have the reverb at about 6 as well. And it's really great. I mean, it's a really solid sound. I don't know what the voicing is set to. It's set to looks like 6, whatever that is, and I'll look that up here in a moment. But just to give you an idea. And unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to change the strings on the guitar, so the intonation's off a little bit. But it's I'm quite impressed. Wow. And for clean, you know, for such a tiny amp, you wonder, where's that sound coming from? And here, I've got I have the pedal board off, and it's true bypass, so so this is just the amps. And unfortunately, there's some kind of wasp or hornet or something that got in here. It's kind of bugging me. No pun intended, but okay, but just take a listen to this. This is tube-like sound where you've got these chords that pop, you know, they pop off of, like if I pull just the E minor. just totally impressed. It's a little tiny amp. I mean, you can't believe it. How is it getting that kind of volume and that kind of sound? What's interesting is the Albion amp is a hybrid too. They both are. Screwed up there. Hey, really great. Okay, let's try it without the Albion here. Make sure my ears aren't deceiving me and that I'm hearing the Albion thinking, oh, it sounds great. And one of the big things for me is I don't care if it's solid state or tube, it's got to be clean. You know, if I'm hearing all kinds of buzzing and crap like that, it's just not even worth messing with. Reminds me of that, like a crate amp. When you turn the chorus channel on, you get all this terrible hiss. It's just horrid. Now this is really nice. Nice and silently clean. Can't stop playing it. It's really totally blown away. And look at this amp. I'm going to show it to you here in a second. It's microscopic. Take a look at that amp. It's right there. Look how puny that is. Compare that to the Stage 150G right there. Below that is an Albion 2x12. And that's what I have hooked up over here, an Albion 2x12. That's an Ultra Twin 2x12. And yet, here's this little puny amp. And man, I'm totally blown away. I can't believe it. Just the sound quality is so good. You know, definitely sounds like a tube amp. But just the volume level, and when I say volume level, I mean quality volume level. You know, it's not even, doesn't seem to be struggling whatsoever. Alright, let's delve into this more. And first thing to do, turn off that Albion amp so that all you hear is the Fender. Okay. So definitely my skepticism of the 15 watts, you know, of tube amp power not being enough just went out the window. And in fact, I'm stunned, really. You know, at what seems to be a tiny practice amp is actually so loud and clear. Okay, now I've turned it off. Turned off the Albion amp so that all you're hearing is a Fender. And let's hear that. And this is the settings I recorded with. Okay. me change the sound a little bit. I think the reverb's a little high. Let's see if we can get a little more bass out of it too. By the way, some of my favorite amps are hybrid amps. By the way, I don't know why, I just like maybe it's just the idea even of it. It just seemed a lot clearer than just full solid state. Just to give you an idea, I just wanted to try this. I have the clean volume at 7. And the treble I have up to about 3. And then I've got the bass at almost 8, between 7 and 8. And then the reverb, I turn it down from 5 to about 4, maybe 4.5. And listen to this, it's still super clean. That's all I can say is I'm just... Yeah, this is great, man. That's awesome. Loud, but not too loud. That's on the neck pickup. If I try the bridge. Now notice it starts to break up when you're using the bridge, you know, that kind of so that's the bridge, and the neck position is... That's pretty darn loud right there. And you can hear it's right on the edge of breaking up there. In other words, you have a lot of clean, you know, headroom there. And don't forget, I've got the bass really cranked. So hold on, let's make another change. Now this time I've got yeah, the volume of the amp is about a little 5.5. Haven't really changed it that much, but I did turn down some of the bass, and I brought some of the treble up to 5 just to see what kind of sound it would give. This is on voicing 6, I believe. Wow. kind of yeah, I think it was better before, actually. I would assume this amp is getting rave reviews, right? Unless there's something wrong with my ears. And this is on the basic setting. I mean, I haven't even installed the software or tried any of the other voices or anything. I mean, I'm just, wow. You know, I'm sorry, it kind of blows away the Orange Crush 30, you know, that I just reviewed before. It's just, yeah. Surprised. So those 15 watts of tube power, they mean it. I mean, it's really keeps up with, 80 watt solid state. Even the stage 150, you know, I bet it would keep up with that pretty well as well, which is 150 watt solid state. And this is a simple 15 watts. And what I like about it is it's not the volume level, but it's the clean volume level. And keeping the quality of the sound, you know, for as long as it does. Okay, now I'm going to have to check on what these voicings are, and we'll try some of the other effects and things to complete the review of this amp. So hold on one second. Okay, now I've tried some of the voicings on channel 2. Channel 1's basically a clean channel, plug in and play. Okay. Now surprisingly, I went through, you know, there's 16 different amp voicings, and they range from a Tweed Champ to a Jazz Master flat solid state clean, to a 2000 metal, 90s metal, and a bunch of British amps and so on. And what I found is, for the kind of sound I'm trying to get, just a nice clean sound, I found that between the voicings and the clean that they already chose, they're very similar. I'll give you one example. Here's one, and I believe it's a 65 Deluxe amp voicing. Let's hear some of that. This is a real nice clean sound. let's say I'm gonna switch back to channel 1, which is the one that's basically just the clean channel with the same settings. This is, and you'll see that it's pretty similar. Just channel 1 sound. And you compare it to the channel 2 sound I just picked, they're pretty similar. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and try just a couple other voicings on channel 2. Now here's a pretty nice chorus sound. I see people using this a lot. Sounds kind of a mix between a chorus and a delay. Hold on. Here's that kind of tremolo sound. Here's the built-in delay at about 120 beats per minute. Okay, so here are my thoughts overall on this amp. One, for how small it is, you get a really great sound from it, no doubt. And for anyone who's skeptical about the 15 watts of tube power, that shouldn't be a concern at all. It is plenty loud. Definitely competes with most of my solid state amps, and that's only at 15 watts. Number 2, the clean channel. Number 1, where they pretty much select the settings for you. You basically have one knob. is really great. It just sounds so good. When I mess on channel 2, we have the 16 voicings. There I found that there were, several obviously differences. And if you sat there and tweaked it a bit and spent some time with it, you could definitely get your own sound that you want from it. But for me, most of it, at the time that I was trying to do that, it ended up sounding like channel 1, There are some differences, though, for sure. Especially on some of the amp voicings there. Here I'm just testing it overnight, so I don't really have time to get too detailed here, but just from trying it. Then there's the distortion channels. They're okay. They're okay. I don't know. You'd have to really work with them, to be quite honest. But for the occasional distortion sound, that'd be fine. It still doesn't seem that amp was really designed for that. I never knew that Fender, did distortion to begin with. So, or at least some of the, distortion channels were okay. They kind of flubbed out on the low end and things. In other words, you'd probably, have to use an EQ and EQ on the amp and try to get it so it wouldn't flub out like that. But to me, this isn't the kind of amp to get if you're playing, whatever it is, a metal, 7-string metal necessarily. It's not that kind of amp. Though with a pedal, I suppose it could be. And the voicings are decent. Don't get me wrong. As far as the built-in effects, they're kind of fun, and they're okay, if you really don't have anything else on hand, effects-wise. And they're kind of fun to play with, and the tap tempo helps a lot, But overall, I found myself, constantly going back to just the reverb sound. Just made the amp sound very, very nice. So overall, I'd say this is quite a bedroom practice amp. I think it's much more than that. Much more. I believe you can certainly gig with it. Within reason, of course. Because it is really loud, but in a pleasing way. And that obviously has to do with the tube power amp. And with that clean channel, if that's what you're going for, which is what I was looking for, it's kind of a no-brainer. You basically plug it in, turn up the volume, and if you've got your reverb set, and the EQ. And on the EQ, I found that if you, don't raise the bass, too much, there you can get a lot of clean headroom, and the balance between the bass and treble are very good, very solid. Definitely a worthwhile amp, without question, but for all the voicings and the built-in effects and things, which is kind of what I like about the amp, is it's basically, to me, good at one thing, and that's just a clean sound. A really nice, solid, clean sound. In fact, when I compare it to the orange amp, I think this one is superior, because you can pop those chords out and it's real loud and bright without being harsh or brittle or that kind of thing, you know. But you gotta watch the EQ, you know, how you set the EQ. You know, if you go boosting the treble, it kind of loses its magic, is what I found. And when I compare it to the orange amp, which is all solid state, yeah, this one can definitely beat it out in terms of loudness, but also sound quality. I can definitely see why this would be a popular amp, you know.